All right, hey y'all, this is take two. Sorry about that. I just tried to go live and it said my connection was weak, so I'm not even sure if it posted or not. But welcome back. Happy Halloween. I am Tremaine from Mind Over Money. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful Monday. And yeah, what I was saying before is that I was dressed up as a pumpkin. This is my Halloween costume, lovely orange. So if you are watching this live, you are in the Get Your Money Right 21-day challenge Facebook group. If you're watching this as a replay, then somebody you know is in that group and you probably want to join us. Next month, we are going to be talking about cost-saving strategies and some things you can do to kind of help bring down your expenses monthly. So thanks for joining, Angela. So let's jump right into it. Today, we are talking about friends and money. Thanks for joining, Jazz. I just left you. We're talking about friends and money. And I'm just going to start by saying, like, don't do it. Friends and money, there's a lot of boundaries that you need to set up, lines you shouldn't cross, and we're going to talk about some of those things. And I do want to apologize for not having a broadcast last week because burnout is real and I just had to take a moment and just de-stress, right? So I'm back now, feeling 100% better, and we're going to jump right on in. So I have 4 don'ts for you today when we're talking about friends and money. Because you know, like, your friendships are important. And sometimes you don't want to mix your finances with other aspects of your life. And one of those aspects might be in your friendships. And so I have 4 things to definitely kind of help steer you in the right direction with those. So the first thing I want to talk about is frivolous spenders, okay? We all know people who spend a lot of money, and we might think it's money they don't have to spend, but you want to be careful about the people you hang around because you are a composite of the 5 people you spend most of your time with. And if you spend a lot of time around people who spend a lot of money, chances are you are going to develop some of those same habits that they have. And even if you are fortunate enough to not develop some of the bad habits they have, you could develop some other traits that are not quite as friendly. So like, you might even find yourself envious that they are spending that much money, or maybe find yourself jealous that they have the ability to spend that kind of money, or you might start being judgmental. Well, like, you know, you might know that they don't have it, but you're judging them for spending their money. It's their money. It's not for you to judge them on how they spend it. So be wary of frivolous spenders. The second one is you don't want to be the friend who always pays. Sometimes we have friends who may not have it, and there are things you want to do with your friends, and you're like, okay, I'll pay for it. On the flip side, you also don't want to be the friend who is always getting paid for. If you're a working person, or if you have friends who are working people and they want to go somewhere, they need to pay their fair share. It costs to participate in certain activities, and sometimes if you don't have it, then you might need to miss out on those activities. Now, it might be cool to be the friend that pays for other people to do things, but what you might find is that over the course of time, may be some resentment that grows and strains that friendship. And so what you want to do is like protect yourself, and so that you can protect your friendship, and that you're not the friend that's always paying for your other friends to do things. It's nice to treat people out every once in a while, but to be the one who always foots the bill all the time may even expose that maybe these folks aren't actually your friends and they are using you for your money. Okay. The next one, taboo. We do not discuss income with our friends. Okay. Everybody is in a different walk and is earning different amounts of money. And so the way you base your friends should not be based upon how much money they make, right? And we don't want to get in a competition measuring ourselves by how much we make. And so discussing our income and how much money we have is not really a conversation that should be on the table, because comparing our wallets is really never fun, especially if there are friends who are in less lucrative careers and they might find themselves that they might be inadequate or they can't hang out with you because, you know, they don't make as much money. And so if these are folks that are truly your friends, how much money they make is not something that's important, right? Our friendships are important because of the characteristics and the traits and the other positive attributes that they bring to the table, not how much money is in their wallet. And then what you don't want to create is a space of envy. You know, jealousy is a very real thing, and especially when you're I know, girl, the struggle is real, especially for our teacher friends, because sometimes, you know, our teacher friends just don't have it. So but yeah, it's not, don't be the person who's bragging about how much money they have and how much money they make. You know, it's not a wise thing to do. It doesn't look good on you. If you do make a lot of money, awesome. Throwing around how much you make is not a good thing. And then number four, Jazz says, but what about when you're dating though? That's a whole nother conversation. I will make a note that we'll talk about that next week. So dating and money, I'm writing that down. The last piece I wanted to talk about is lending money. And I'm gonna say that I actually am a hypocrite when I tell you not to lend money. I have done this for a friend. Now, fortunately for me, it turned out good, but it does not always work out well. So what I would say about lending money to friends is that if you cannot afford to lose it, do not lend it, because there are chances that you might not get that money back. So let's say, for instance, you know, you have money in your emergency savings that you have access to, and a friend needs $1,000, right? You have it to give to them. You're not using it right now, but like, what happens if in 2 months, you know, an emergency happens and now you need $1,000 you just lent out? If you can't afford to give it as a gift, meaning you don't expect it back, do not lend it out. I will say that if you are a huge-hearted person like me, the thing I did is that I made the person sign a contract. That was probably the best thing that I did. Contract, yes, Jazz. Contract. Get it on paper in writing how much you are lending, if you are charging an interest fee, when the payments are due back, and make sure it is signed. Because that way, if there is any type of legal action that needs to be taken, you have it in writing that this was a loan and it was not a gift. I don't have a story for that, but just in case, you don't have to cover your bases and make sure that everybody that is involved understands what this agreement is. So, and that's a big one for me. Like, don't lend money you can't afford to lose. I think that oftentimes we think we are doing our friends a favor. And while we might be, you know, everybody isn't good about their money. And so you have to just cover yourself. And if you can't afford to lose it, don't lend it. So those 4 things were to watch out for frivolous spenders. Don't always be the friend who pays. We're not discussing income as a topic of conversation, and do not lend money. Hopefully something I covered today was something you found beneficial. Be on the lookout for my post tomorrow. We're talking about cost saving strategies. I love saving money. It's probably one of my favorite pastimes. So yeah, that is Money and Friends for tonight. See you guys next week. Bye.